Tonight, just a week before Election Day, ballot drop boxes on fire, mountains of fake information cluttering the internet, and U.S. officials sounding the alarm about foreign countries trying to sow chaos.
There has been a fire hose of disinformation coming at voters.
Like this video that just went viral purporting to show someone ripping up ballots in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. But it's fake, according to U.S. agencies tracking election misinformation. They said in a statement that the video is part of a Russian disinformation effort to, quote, raise unfounded questions about the integrity of the U.S. election. The agency leading the charge, CISA, the nation's cybersecurity and infrastructure security agency. CISA is tasked with making sure votes are counted, poll workers stay safe, and information like this gets called out for the sham that it is.
They are looking to sow partisan discord, to pit Americans against each other.
CISA's director, Jen Easterly, says the agency is trying to set the record straight on its Rumor vs. Reality webpage. But they have some limits to their powers, like those ballot drop boxes, not their purview. And the agency practicing restraint when it comes to policing Americans' free speech. Like earlier this year, when about 50,000 New Hampshire voters received this robocall from a deepfake pretending to be Joe Biden, telling them not to vote in the state's primary.
Voting this Tuesday only enables the Republicans.
It wasn't CISA that jumped in, but the state.
That messaging was clearly a form of voter suppression. It was illegal and simply inappropriate.
The Secretary of State telling us his office blasted out a response on social media and in press releases. But why would the feds not get involved?
Why would CISA be reluctant to step in any situation, and why would they rather leave some things to state and locals?
Well, so states, by the Constitution, run elections.
Other constraints, Easterly says, are social media companies cutting their staff that handle government requests to remove disinformation, a hot-button issue.
Obviously, the great thing about America is you have freedoms to include freedom of speech.
If there's bad information that comes from an American citizen and they're protected by free speech online, do you respond differently to that than you would if you know it's coming from a foreign adversary?
Well, we've put out specific information about what our foreign adversaries are doing. But at the end of the day, we are just looking to put out accurate information.
Senator Mark Warner, a Democrat, pushing for CISA to do more in a letter last month arguing that artificial intelligence has supercharged the threats to elections.
Do you think CISA should be the one to tell the American people when something is fake news?
I think that CISA hasn't been willing to lean in as much on the fake news definition because you have so many, candidly, Americans putting out fake news.
Come Election Day, if misinformation is swirling, Warner thinks CISA should be prepared to step in.
The most important thing is to get that word out as quickly as possible, and that may require a federal response.
But in America's patchwork election system, CISA may not be able to put out every fire.
What should voters do if they see something on Election Day that they're not sure if it's true or not?
The trusted source is your state and local election official.
Key for voters to keep in mind as they head to the polls and wait for the results.
Julia is joining us now. So, Julia, what's interesting here, and having traveled to some of these county election buildings, right, and places where they're getting ready for Election Day, there is a nexus between the federal government and what states and counties are doing, right? Talk that through.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, sometimes you think, why wouldn't the federal government get involved if there's something like a deep fake going out to 50,000 New Hampshire voters? But it's because there is this separation. And until CISA got that designation in 2018 that made elections part of their critical infrastructure and part of their responsibility, it was always state and local. So they've always had to be careful coming forward. If you remember when you first started hearing about CISA, Hallie, it was probably in 2020. A lot of us remember the director, Chris Krebs. He's the one who came out after 2020 and said, this is the safest election in the history of the United States. And of course, he was fired for that by Donald Trump. So this is an agency that is really wearing that past, is really aware of how they don't want to end up making things worse by seeming like an outside federal agency that's going to come in and put their thumb on the scale for one party or another. So they really want to leave everything to the state and locals and only step in if they're seeing a big trend and if it's coming from a foreign adversary. adversary. That's a much safer space that they're comfortable operating in than trying to nitpick Americans as they post online and say this is true or this isn't true. That's not where they want to be, Hallie.
Julia Ainsley, thank you very much for that reporting. More to come on that, I know, in the next week.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.